SpaceX Starship IFT-7 update. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time. Today we have a little bit of misty morning. It's been cold and misty this morning, actually. I'm in South Florida and the feel like temperature was 34 degrees, guys. 34 degrees. What the heck is that? I have no blood left. I'm freezing. Anyways, guys, today we're going to be talking about IFT-7. I think there's some really good information I want to convey to you. This is going to be simply an update video. As of today, what the heck is going on? When is it going to launch? What are they going to be doing? What are the advancements to the craft as well as the process? What is changing? What is remaining the same? And I'm going to get into all of these. I kind of wrote a whole bunch of notes down. Once again, I'm going to give you an update as of this morning. So it's going to be 100% updated. All right. So I was listening to Elon Musk just the other night, and he was playing Path of Exile 2, and he was talking about what is going on, and that's when we found out that there's going to be a delay of the Starship IFT-7 launch. We found out that it's going to have something to do with weather. It's not actually the craft itself. So if weather permitting, it's going to move forward a few days, and we're going to get into the dates and all the rest of this stuff once again in today's video. Before we get into it, I just want to say that if you enjoy the content, throw the video a thumbs up. That is very, very helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. If you are, thank you. I appreciate that. Click this notification button over here so I go live, and when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. Like when I go live for IFT-7, join me, hang out with me. It'll be fun. There's usually hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you here while we watch this amazing display. Also, if you haven't downloaded any of my ebooks, check them out. Go to JCristina.com/books. They are free just for you being here. And if you want to say thank you for all of my hard work, there's a little thank you button right down here. You can give $1 or $2 if you like. If not, it's perfectly fine. The video is still free. Consider becoming a member of the channel. That would be even better. And if you want more Starlink specific content, I put together now just under 400 videos just for you. I'll put a link here. Don't click on it yet. The link will be here. When you're done watching this video, click on that and you will see a whole ton. Once again, 400 helpful how-tos, tips, tricks, what to do, what not to do, what to buy, what not to buy, and how to do a lot. But most importantly, the why behind all of it. As I always say, this channel has always been and always will be about the why. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into this list. Once again, I put this list together for you about an hour ago this morning, so it is current, up to the minute. Once again, some of this information actually comes from Elon Musk as he was streaming Path of Exile 2. Normally he streams Diablo 4, but this time it was Path of Exile 2. I think it looks like a pretty good game. I think maybe I'll stream some of it, or maybe I'll do some video of me playing the game on Linux, because I know a lot of you guys are breaking free from Windows and maybe you want to see some Linux gameplay. Let me know down below in the comments. So once again, some of this information is from Elon Musk just the other night. Starting out with the launch date, we move forward a few days, and once again, like I said before, it has to do with weather. Weather seems to be the issue that kind of pushed things back. So the date moved forward to January 13th. I believe that's Monday. It's going to be at 4:00 p.m. that's Central Time, or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so it'll be 5 o'clock my time when I will be going live probably an hour before, maybe 45 minutes before the launch. So once again, join me. Like I said before, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications so you will know when I go live. The other thing is the mission profile. What are they changing here, or what are they doing? What's the trajectory? Is anything changing? And as far as the trajectory, the path, it's going to be a suborbital path. It's going to go around the world and it's going to splash down once again in the Indian Ocean. That is the top half, or the Starship, whereas the bottom half, or the Super Heavy, that'll be coming back to Boca Chica, and it's supposedly going to be caught with Mechazilla, those chopstick arms. That is nice. We saw that they did it in IFT-5 and they caught it. That was just unbelievable to watch, absolutely unbelievable. It looked fake, all right? And then in IFT-6, they ended up aborting it and now landing it in the Gulf of Mexico. So hopefully this time they won't have to abort and they'll actually be able to land it or catch it in midair, which is just amazing. Very, very cool stuff. The other thing is the upgrades to the vehicle that I wrote down. Now, you know, if you've been around with me for a while watching the IFT's launch and my live coverage, I'm always looking at those flaps and you could just see they just start heating up, and now you can see almost like a red glow to them, and then finally you'll see the skin start melting off, and they just burn up. All right. Underneath, the underpinnings of it, the skeletal structure remains, but the skin of it just melts, okay? It's just simply too hot. You can see the plasma pouring off. Just crazy, absolutely crazy. Well, this time what they've done is move the flap, the forward flap, a little bit closer to the top, or the tippy top of the rocket. And also they reduce the size, because what they've found is they don't need it to be that big to still be effective. So once again, that flap has been moved and shrunk, so hopefully it doesn't melt. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. That is going to be a big deal, because remember, what they're trying to do here, their final goal with all of this is a reusable rocket. You cannot have flaps melting off and then you have to go and fix stuff all the time. The idea is it lands, it gets caught, both of them eventually. Right now, they're going to try to catch once again the Super Heavy, but they will eventually be catching the Starship too. The idea here is reusability, reusability, reusability. That is what is so important. This way they can get those rockets to come in for a landing, they prep them up a little bit, and then they can launch them again, instead of it taking weeks or months. If you guys remember with the space shuttle, for example, those tiles on the space shuttle were hand placed on the ship, and it took 8 to 9 months to replace all of the tiles, those ceramic tiles. That is a major problem. We don't see that problem here with the IFTs. There have some that have fallen off. They have some that are deliberately left off so they can see how much heat would actually hit the craft if one of those tiles were to pop off. There's a lot of things that are going on. They're trying different underlayments, the protective barrier that if one of those tiles fall off, there is a protective barrier underneath that. It is designed to melt, evaporate, and as it evaporates, it cools down. That's just what it's supposed to do. They have also tried putting metal on those ceramic tiles, all kinds of things to get them, once again, reusable, and they don't have to constantly replace them, which is great. The other thing that they've done is upgraded their propellant system. They've made it larger. 25% more propellant is going to be on board. That is awesome. The other thing that they're doing is they're creating this vacuum jacketing that goes around the tubes, the fuel tubes. And people are like, well, why would you need a vacuum jacket around a fuel tube? Basically what happens is when you have that jacket going around the fuel tube and you suck or you create a vacuum, that vacuum doesn't allow heating to go through it, or it makes it reduced, let's say. So instead of you having all of this boil off where you see it steaming and you see some of it evaporating and you're losing propellant, that's a waste. They don't want that. So by making these vacuum containment tubes, let's say, where the actual fuel tubes run inside, pressurizing, vacuuming them out, you end up with that protective layer. And that's what they're going to be testing also on IFT-7. Also, they're going to reignite one of those Raptor vacuum engines in space to make sure that it works just like it did the last time. That is super, super important for moving forward in these missions. They are also enhancing or upgrading the propulsion avionic module. They're going to have more data, more up-to-date data, more timely, quicker. Then the response time for the yay or nay or go or no go of the catch will be a better one. What I understand is in the last IFT-6, where they were going to make that catch, it was a last minute decision by the computers that said, listen, we need to abort. Whereas if they had this new updated avionics system or module in it, it probably wouldn't have said that. All right, because there wasn't enough problem to warrant them aborting. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but that's what I've been reading. The other thing is, and the most important thing for me, and probably you also, is that they're going to be deploying for the first time a payload. That payload will be coming out of that Pez dispenser, as I always call it, that bay that's going to open up that door, and then it's going to launch out dummy satellites. Now, those satellites are kind of interesting because when I was reading about this, they kept on saying that they're going to release dummy satellites that are version 2 satellites. And I did some more research on it, and the problem that I have with a lot of these different sites that put information out there, they really don't research things very well, all right? So they call it a version 2 satellite, but it really isn't. A year ago or 2 years ago, it had been called a version 2 satellite dummy, but it's really not. There's a version 2 mini, which is currently being launched, and the next version is going to be called a version 3. Elon Musk went to version 3 because he said the version 2, the original full-size version 2, that was originally going to be launched with the Starship, that they ended up having to go with a mini and then putting them onto the Falcon 9 rockets. Well, there's so many upgrades that have been done with that satellite, to call it a version 2 would just not really be right. So he said, listen, we're going to call it a version 3. So that being said, we have version 3 dummy satellites, 10 of them being deployed, sent out of that Pez dispenser. That is going to be super cool, especially if they have some really good video footage of this. That is awesome. That is as awesome to me as the actual catch of the Super Heavy, because that is going to be the beginnings of what we will see probably first, second, maybe second quarter of this year, when SpaceX ends up releasing the real version 3 satellites into orbit. That is going to be, everything is going to change because the speeds are going to be faster and the latency is going to be better. They are 4 times bigger, those satellites, like the size of a bus, right? 4 times bigger satellites. Girth is like 3 to 4 times heavier, but the main thing is they provide 10 times the capacity, 10 times. So for every version 3 satellite, you would need 10 version 2.0 minis. That is a big difference, right? A major difference. So that is something that I'm going to be watching. I hope you are excited about that too, because that is going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. I hope the Pez dispenser works, shoots those things out there like Pez, and we are like just moving forward to version 3. Now, like I said before, re-entry is going to stay the same. Recovery is going to be the same as last time. They're going to attempt the chopstick catch. They're going to splash down the Starship in the Indian Ocean once again. They're going to relight the Raptor engine in space to make sure that they can do that in a vacuum. Now, the license and regulatory information, I wrote this down because I wanted to get it just right. The FAA has issued a launch license modification authorizing SpaceX for multiple missions for Starship and Super Heavy vehicles for this flight profile. This includes exceptions for test-induced damage. That's important, test-induced damage, covering scenarios like thermal shield failure, flap system issues, and engine system failures during key mission phases. Meaning, like, if that Falcon vacuum engine didn't fire up in space, they're not going to stop them from launching anymore. Or if, for example, one of those thermal heat shielding protective layers fell off and there was like missing tiles, they're not going to stop them from flying again. Or if the flaps start melting off again, they're not going to stop them from flying again. So as long as they keep with the exact same profile, just like they're doing, they don't need another launch license. They can just simply get this modified launch license and everything is copacetic and they don't have to drag things. The other thing is that NASA, I didn't know this, but NASA is going to launch a Gulfstream 5 aircraft, because if that is the case, we're going to get some amazing footage of that splashdown. You remember the original splashdown, we saw it and it was at night and you see it come into the ocean, you don't know what's going on, then finally it blows up. That thing. Well, IFT-7 ended up coming into the ocean and we actually saw it. Remember, they have buoys out there and those buoys have cameras to take photographs of or video as it's coming in live, which is just crazy, absolutely crazy. Now we're seeing NASA has that Gulfstream 5 up there, that N95NA. That'll be really cool. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. I hope that they have more cameras, better footage, more angles than ever. Because I tell you, when that Pez dispenser opens and it starts launching out those dummy satellites, that's going to be, for me, amazing. All right. And I want to see it in full detail. So this was an update of the Starship IFT-7. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think about all of this? Down below, I want to know. If you don't want to put anything down there because you're shy, put like an emoji or something. That will make me happy. At least I know that you got to the end of the video. The other thing is if you want to hang out with me on January 13th, do so right around 4:15 Eastern Standard Time. That's when I will start coverage, unless something changes, all right? If it changes and time goes forward or backward, I'm going to give you the update. But once again, if you have that little notification button clicked, you will be notified exactly when I will be going live so that you can hang out with me during this IFT-7 launch cycle. I'm stoked. I think this is going to be awesome. Once again, what say you down below? Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you have, throw the video a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all my photography tools I've invented for you and me over the many years. Check out my merch, my tees, my books, everything. If there's something there that you like, help support me and my family and pick it up. I'd really appreciate it. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay connected, and we'll see you for IFT-7. Take care, guys. Love you all.